The illusion of authenticity is a carefully designed mirage. We assume that grain in film or uneven brushstrokes, proven artwork, was made by human hands. But these are now often added as afterthoughts, artificial markers meant to mimic the soul of creations. Early music software even let producers humanize. Robotic MIDI tracks with simulated hesitations and off-beat rhythms. What we mistake for honesty is just a trick in service of belief. It's not about making something real. It's about making has become a formula. One where trust is no longer earned, but engineered. We've taken the messy, unpredictable aspects of human expression and codified them into rules for machines to follow. A glitch in speech synthesis, a smudge on an AI. Portrait. These are not accidents, but design choices. The machine doesn't replicate humanity so much as it mimics its surface signs. And once we accept that fake authenticity feels real, the line between maker and machine begins to dissolve. Technology has always tried to imitate human imperfection. But now it's doing so with such precision that we no longer notice the difference. The paradox is clear authenticity was once a sign of truth, but in digital spaces, it can be manufactured and perhaps even sold. If a machine can fake a trembling hand or a nervous pause convincingly enough to win our trust, what does that say about how little we actually value the real thing? We are not just losing authenticity, we're replacing it with something designed for belief.
The preservation of analog media is an urgent race against time. Each format deteriorates at its.
Before authenticity was a concept for machines to mimic, it existed in the grain of film, static on radio, or the rough edge of a handwritten letter. These were not flaws, but fingerprints of creation. Each medium carried its own scars, and we came to read them as signs of life and labor. But when these imperfections became digital effects, something shifted. We no longer preserved history. We began to recreate it with filters and algorithms that faked emotion rather than captured it. The arms race between authenticity and imitation now plays out in pixels and algorithms. Every new detection tool is immediately undercut by a better forgery. What was once an accident of medium becomes the product specification. We no longer ask if it feels real. We ask if it feels right. And that question changes everything. Because when imperfection becomes performative, the line blurs not just between human and machine, but truth and feeling itself. flaws are signals we've learned to trust. A hand-drawn sketch feels more personal than a polished graphic knot, because one is better. But because the former whispers, "I made this." Now algorithms whisper the same thing, and we can't always tell the difference. Just this week, CNN reported how AI is now being used in rental housing to create synthetic tenant profiles. These virtual renters are given natural quirks, like a tendency to forget to renew their lease on time or ask slightly awkward questions. The result: landlords see a more diverse and relatable tenant pool, even though no real people exist. Barthes said significance is a process through which language undoes us. What happens when those processes are faked? A chatbot that stutters, a deep fake with a slight voice crack. These don't just mimic authenticity, they weaponize it. We feel seen, we trust. The only thing missing is the actual person.
But these minds and imaginations and skills have already shaped a new and prosperous field of endeavor, that of conquering the unknown, far beyond the gravity of our Earth.
Roland Barthes once described punctum as the tiny detail that pierces us. A crumpled corner in a photo, a smudge on an envelope. But now algorithms serve up these moments with surgical precision. We no longer discover meaning in artifacts. We are handed it, mass produced and predictable. The mystery is gone. The ache for something real, gone too. The final paradox is this: to simulate imperfection at scale, we must destroy the conditions that made those flaws meaningful. A handwritten note isn't touching because it's just ink. It's touching because it was written by someone whose hand trembled or paused mid-thought. When everything can be faked, nothing is special.